What's up, guys, and welcome back. Got a fresh new episode today. We're going to make a welding cart. So I've been rocking the Harbor Freight welding cart for, years now. My little Home Depot Lincoln Handy MIG. I've welded everything with that, but I need to step it up to a 220, so I've got me an Art Captain on the way, and my cut 50. This little plasma cutter here. So what I'm going to have is a 110 welder, plasma cutter, and the 220 welder. All of these things need to be slightly more maneuverable than the wheels and everything that I have on this. It's just, I don't know, I don't like it. What I did way back in the day, I think it was last Black Friday, I got one of these service carts and I put some upgraded wheels on it. I don't know, this was years ago, probably on Amazon, but this thing just maneuvers so great. And I got to thinking when they were sitting next to each other, well, what if I put this stuff in here? So I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm going to try to make a welding cart a little more functional, a little more storage, and make it do what I need it to do. I've got a whole lot more shop now, got way more space, so welding cart that's a little bit bigger, it's a good idea. They had another sale, another parking lot sale. You know how Harbor Freight gets you with them parking lot sales. So I picked up another service cart, and you can kind of see where this is going. Like Transformers, I'm going to combine these things. I really wanted more than 2 drawers, but I didn't want to pay for the 5-drawer cart. So I'm going to take the drawer from this, and I'm going to sneak it somewhere in here, and I'm going to use the rest of these pieces to make another shelf up higher. I'm also going to utilize all this metal because I'm not going to be using that anymore. Bottle on the other side, so it's nice and secure. I'm going to make some area to store all these hoses because I got power cords and air lines and all the things back there. Got to store all that, got to make it clean. Plus, I got a little drawer here I can put stuff in. That's not this. So let's get to it, start mocking up. Well, now that we've got a mess and we've got everything taken apart, kind of go over what I'm thinking here. I'm probably going to turn this shelf here, if you will, so it's flat on the top. But to do that, this lip is going to hit the front of this drawer. So I'm going to have to get some sort of a spacer on the front there and run some longer bolts. Before I start building up, I want to make sure I have a good foundation. I was playing around with different things, trying to figure out if I want to use this base and cut it and like weld it onto here, or use some of these trays or something. But I think ultimately these wheels are phenomenal, and I'd like to keep those. And if I put a bottle weight on the side here, I don't think that's going to be adding too much leverage. And if it does, I can always add those wheels underneath it or push those wheels out, which is what I may end up doing. Anyway, I don't have a big bottle, just a little guy. So I took the middle shelf out of the Harbor Freight deal, the welding cart, and I think if I cut half of that off, that'll be enough for a bottle. So I'm probably going to do that. Find a way to affix that here and put some sort of bracing on the bottom side so that it doesn't fall off. But the theme of this is to use what I got, so I guess what I'm trying to say is whatever's in my scrap pile is what's going to get used on this, and I'll try to make it as strong as I can. Moving on. So I really wanted to keep the chain attachments here that came with that back panel and something to, you know, just separate that from the rest of the cart. So I think I'm going to use the back panel that's there. I did cut this, I guess that'd be I did cut the second panel, second shelf down, and I cut it, I don't know, it's like 15 and some change on the measurements. So I made this 8.5, and I cut the sides down 7.5. That way this can slide in and still have a little bit on the underside that I can attach to the bottom of the shelf there. So that'll give me some more strength. So I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes in this. Actually, probably just going to tack this in place because we're welding. So that's going to sit something like that. So let me get that tacked into place and see what it looks like. So I got the base done, and I kind of went crazy in the mock-up phase because I don't know what the heck I want here. I took the bottom and basically reassembled it, but flipped the top piece over. So this shelf was like that one was, where it has a lip in there, and I wanted that one to be flat. That's where my Art Captain welder is going to go. Needed a spot for the cut 50, and I'm probably still going to hang on to this little MIG welder because it does great for anything under 1/4 inch on 110. So that's going to go in here, but with these welders I wanted to be able to get the door open, so that took some configuring. I got it right up against the edge here. I can still play with it and get that spool out if I need to change it, and then that still seals it mostly. I might put some weather stripping or not care about it. Cables are everywhere because, again, this is mock-up and I'm kind of figuring out what I need to do. I got to go pick my kid up from school, so I got to make a run to town anyway, so figured I'd measure for all my bolts and things that I need to get that I don't have in my bins. And with this drawer here, I decided I wanted to put one drawer at the bottom, and then if I have my welder up here, I can put another drawer up top. In doing that, I can keep the consumables for these items in that drawer, and the consumables for here in that drawer, or whatever it ends up being in the long term. So to do that, since I flipped both of those shelves like that, the drawer, if I ran the drawer all the way up against where it's supposed to bolt to in these holes, the drawer would hit the shelf right here. So I had to space this down a little bit, and that leaves me with whatever 3 fingers is. So I got to come up with a spacer that's 2 inches long and a longer bolt. I measured the bolt and it's 2.5 inches, so I'll probably just get a bag of nuts and stack on there. But what we're doing is we're just going to bolt this through the top here, have some nuts or something as a spacer, and then it'll capture this top plate right here on the back side of that shelf, and that will securely mount the shelf to the bottom, and I can put that in there and move upwards. The next welder can go in here, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. You can see that one, I've got the bolts just kind of sitting in there, and the lip right here, this is where the drawer would come out right along that edge, so it would hit that drawer. Drawer would hit on the shelf. Don't want to cut anything. For me, I change my mind every 5 seconds and reconfigure and do things, so I could weld everything together. It's a welding cart project, but I know tomorrow I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to want to move stuff, and that might mean unbolting and moving stuff around. So this is why this is such a great project for me, is I can move it and reconfigure it over and over and over. I even bolted the bobble mount so that I can move that if I need to also. So I'm going to go grab some hardware and get these drawers thrown in there, and then we can figure out the next few steps. Before I go too much further, I got to get rid of all these cords I'm tripping on. So we're going to start making some places for these to go. I used the 2 little hooks that we had on the little welding cart before, just 2 little holes here that I drilled and bolted those up. So that'll get my plasma torch out of the way for now. I still need to get the MIG gun, little handy MIG gun, mounted up on there. So I'm thinking I'll make a little bracket that sits kind of like, I guess like that. Bolt it down, basically the same design as this, but I'm going to make this portion right here stick out a little bit more so it can hang past this. So I got some, what is this, 3/4 inch flat stock, 1/8 inch steel. Gave myself 2 inches here for mounting flat, and then it'll stick out 3 inches, and then it'll stick up another 3 inches. So I'm going to get that bent, get some holes drilled in it, and drill some holes in here and see what that looks like. There we go. She's beautiful. That'll hold that there nicely. Alright, I got one made for the 220 side on the cut 50, and it's also getting the cord for the MIG here. Kind of offset that a little bit to get it out away from the bottle. I may make something to maybe keep that away from the drawer, but I guess we'll see what happens if that bothers me enough. But you can probably put something here or even incorporate something into that bracket. But I got 2 more brackets to make, and then I'm going to take them all off and paint them. Can't really have a Harbor Freight toolbox build without putting a power strip on there. This little guy goes everywhere on these boxes. It's got a magnet on the back. I just jammed it up in here. Fits great. Or if you don't like that, you can put it on these little hand brackets. They fit in there, and you can bolt it down like that. You can even turn it around the other way. You can put your hand bracket in here where it's supposed to go. and it'll be inside the tray. However you do it, this thing they made so it just fits everywhere. So I'm probably going to mount mine here. I might just jam it up here since I wipe this blood off. Might just jam it in there, be a little simpler. Then I can get to it easy if I want to move it. That's where that's going to live probably. Now I can plug all my grinders and stuff right into that, and it matches the white that's going to be brown in a couple weeks. So I went ahead and made a mount for my angle grinder. Looks kind of funky because there's a little groove on there that has to sit down on that. That's where that goes. It's going to be right with all the things where I'm going to need that. I'll probably also get some bolts and stick out, maybe some 4-inch bolts or something, so I can run all of your cut-off wheels and things and just have everything right here. So when I'm doing metal, I can just grab that and go. Probably should also make another one for my other grinder. Let's see, what else did I do? I got all my brackets made, and I put one here. It's exactly the same as that one. That's going to be where I hang the torch off for the art captain. It should be here momentarily. It's on the truck. Also made a little, used some of that flat stock here and made a little deal going across so I can hang all my clamps on there. Started organizing my wire, regulator, gloves, all my junk I'm going to need. Consumable bits and things. As I'm unpacking, I find them and throw them in here. Also got some, it's cold. Also got some sheet metal butt clamps and probably some Clecos and things that I'll jam in there. Harbor Freight has those little organizer tool plastic bin things. That will be perfect for this. I might have to pick up a couple of those and I can keep all my little pieces organized in there. They look kind of like this. I like keeping stuff in little bins. But that's pretty much all the fabrication side for this. The bottle sits great. Everything looks like it's gonna fit nice. And it does this. It just rolls around and is super mobile. So if I need to do something, I just take the cart where I'm going to do it, and I've got power to plug in. The little power strip's got 8 feet of cord on it, so that should be plenty to get me to an outlet. I put my outlets every, I don't know, what was that, 6 or 8 feet anyways around the shop. So then when I'm plugged into that, if I need a little bit of welding, something, you know, I don't know, 1/4 inch or smaller with plate, I could use the Lincoln welder, and I can also plug my grinders and everything right into this. Whatever I'm doing, it's just handy to have on the cart. So as soon as that arc welder gets here, we'll unpack that, set that on there, and make sure everything looks good. Apparently I was tracking the wrong part. My torch came today. The welder will not be here for another week. We're about to have the snowpocalypse, ice storm, all that stuff happening, so it'll be God knows how long before that gets here. So the cart's done. Got everything built and installed. Pretty simple, just bolted some stuff together. Got me 2 drawers in there. Welder will fit in that space with plenty of room. Got places to hang all my torches and things, and this thing will get continually upgraded as we move forward. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on what you can do to make a welding cart. That's just me messing around in the garage. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment down there. See you on the next one.